I don't have much of a bell this morning, so you'll have to. We'll do with what I have.
You could just say ring, ring, Rich. That'll do it.
We call the meeting of the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club, the greatest Rotary club in the
universe.
Together. My reading today is actually from the Rotary magazine. Politics does not bring peace. People bring peace. The fight against terrorism is based on fear, but efforts to promote peace are based on hope. The real enemy is the ignorance that breeds hatred. Rotary, with its connections between clubs in different countries, is one example of how people can bring peace. Would you please join me? Or no, Teek, do you have the invocation? Oh, Teek. Well, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance right now, and then we'll come back to Teek. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
United States of America.
And
to the republic.
It stands one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Teek, are you out there now?
I am.
Okay.
How about grabbing a bite?
You want to take the prayer now, Teek?
Sure. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to be with Rotarians today, even on Zoom, and thank you for the technology that lets us do this if we can't meet in person. I pray for protection for us and our families from the illnesses going around, and I pray for our lost Rotarians from last year and their families. I give thanks to you that we get to participate in these local and international service projects and still do service above self. Amen.
Thank you. Join me in the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Our song today is led by none other than David Brickett.
Good morning, everyone. Afternoon. Join me on mute and sing America the Beautiful. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown my good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Very good, David. Maybe we'll give you the job permanently.
That's right. And we sound all great when we're muted.
Yes, indeed. Everyone sounded great. Good job. Great job. I saw some lips moving. That's good.
Yes.
All right. Participation.
Yes.
Do we have any visiting Rotarians today? I know we have at least one. And I think we have Lynn Murphy, you're president. Yes, you're president of the Skagit Rotary Club. Did you have something you wanted to convey to us, Lynn?
Yes, thanks, Rich. President of the Skagit Rotary Club. For those that don't know, we had to make the difficult decision to take our Rotary auction, our annual 34th annual Rotary auction, to virtual auction this year. And I'm sharing my screen right now so that you can see that we are trying to sell our raffle tickets virtually. It's a little harder when you're not in person, right? And so if you haven't registered already, The registration link is at the very bottom there, skagit.rotary.maxgiving.bid. The auction is going to be on January the 29th. It'll last for about an hour and a half. You're going to get to see Roger Ragusa and maybe even auction committee chair Amelia Cook do some song and dance in front of the camera. And then we're going to have a slate of our live auction items, which is about 16 items. If you have any interest, I need to sell 4 raffle tickets today, and I would love to see a show of hands or even a message to me in the chat of those that would be interested in selling or buying, excuse me, a raffle ticket. Thank you, Paula. So you can buy a best of live ticket. Thank you, David. Or a 50-50. The best of live tickets, we're only going to sell 100 of these tickets. The best of live is 200 of tickets, and 50-50 is 100 tickets. You can win one of 3 prizes in the 50-50, which is $5,000, $2,500, or another $2,500. For Paula and David, those are the only hands I saw. Make sure you register at that link, and then I will also reach out to you and make sure that that we are good to go. If there was any others, if you could say your name, that'd be great, because I can only see so many people right now. Any questions? Okay, I have 2 purchases. Can I get 2 more possibly?
I'll take one. Lynn, this is Nick Van Jarsveld.
Hi, Nick. Thank you very much. Can you message me your email address in the chat? Thank you, sir. Anybody else? One more.
Did you get Becky on there?
No, I didn't. Becky, thank you.
Yeah, I'll buy the 50-50.
50-50?
Yeah, I already have my live auction ticket.
Fantastic. Thank you, Becky. I greatly appreciate it. Paula, which one would you like? You're muted, hon. I think I saw you say 50-50. Can you give me a thumbs up? Okay. I'm reading lips today. And David? I lost you. I can't see you. Can you tell me which ticket you would like, David?
50-50.
Thank you, sir. We greatly appreciate everybody's support. If you don't know that I do live in Sedro Woolley, I need to come and visit you all sometime for your luncheon. Just greatly appreciate everything that you guys do in the community. I know that our clubs are very well respected, and I greatly appreciate your support today. Thanks.
Lynn, did you get Chris Rothenbuehler? She messaged out there. She wanted one too.
Perfect. I did not. Thank you, sir.
Said best of live.
Mark Venn also.
What was that last name? I'm sorry.
Mark Venn.
And so for Mark and Chris, can you message me your contact information, your email address?
Oh,
I already bought one.
Mark said he already purchased one through Steve. So
Okay. So of course, I was going to say Steve usually is the one talking with you today, and he couldn't make it today. So thank you.
Okay.
So I just saw a message. Unfortunately, you can't buy the raffle tickets on the website. There is a state law that says that we can't sell raffle tickets online. So it has to go through a Rotarian. So if you could register and then contact me, I'd be happy to set you up with that raffle ticket. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
And thank you, Lynn. I know you guys are going to have a great auction. Unfortunately, it's not live again, but one of these days we're going to get back to at least semi-normal. So keep up the good work. Do we have any guests of Rotarians here today? Okay. I think it's time now that we might have anniversaries.
Yes, we do.
There we go. There's Julia.
Yes, we do. We have 3 couples. We have Daryl and Sherilyn, Chad and Cherry, and Bruce and Dee. And Bruce and Dee emailed that they are celebrating in the sunny Arizona. So good place to be on an anniversary.
Yeah.
We'll remain slightly envious and missing them, but happy anniversary to them. It's coming for them on January 28th. But I believe we do have Daryl and we do have Chad will you guys unmute yourselves and maybe we'll start with Daryl. Daryl, are you there?
We are here.
Oh, fantastic. And I can see you and Sherilyn both.
Correct.
Happy anniversary, you guys, because yours is tomorrow. No, today.
Today.
Is it today?
Yes, today.
Oh my goodness. Well, happy anniversary. Could you please tell us a little bit more about your family, about your wonderful life that you've had together?
Well, we're celebrating as of today 53 years of marriage. And as you know, we have a large family. We still have 7 children and 27 great grandchildren or grandchildren. And we have 14 great grandchildren with 3 on the way. And
Oh,
we hope to celebrate by going out and having a nice dinner. And then we're headed for Arizona in 2 weeks. So,
well, there you go. Well, that is absolutely astounding. How many did you say? So 7 children, 14 grandchildren, right?
great,
No,
great grand.
14 great and 27 grandchildren.
Correct.
Oh boy. You need to kind of start your own town.
Almost.
I don't want him to be mayor.
I don't think you would have much of a choice, Sherilyn. You would have to. Thank you so very much. Thank you for coming in and in this challenging environment. It's Zoom. I would have loved to give you a rose, but maybe we'll reserve it for the time when we are all back in person.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Chad, are you there?
Yes, I am. Sherry's not on here, but I am. We have been married, will be 8 years on Tuesday. We've been together for just under 10 years. We have 2 grown sons, Kevin and Keenan, and we just found out recently that we're going to be grandparents this summer. So,
Well, congratulations. What a nice anniversary gift. A little bit, a few months later, but that's still good.
yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you so very much. Thank you for coming and happy anniversary in
Thank
just
you.
a couple of days.
Okay. Thank you, Yuya. That was very good. And congratulations to all the anniversary couples. Time for a little club business. As you see, we're on Zoom. The board decided that we would go back to Zoom because of the pandemic situation. Unfortunately, it was a tough choice, but we decided that was the safest and the best to do. At this point, I plan on doing it for this week and three more weeks, and then we'll take another look and see where we're at and decide if we want to go back to live meetings at that point in time. Hopefully, things supposedly are leveling out, and Chris Johnson said, 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm going to be optimistic and say 4 weeks. So that's kind of the plan right now, but we'll see where we're at in 3 more weeks. The auction is underway. If any of you can help and want to volunteer, contact Tim, and he can use help in a lot of areas. So all your help would be something that very, very much appreciated. I had an update on Rick Teserick, but I think Eric Johnson has a little later update. And so I'm going to turn it over to Eric to give you what we know. It's not the most good news, but I'll turn it over to Eric and he can convey what he knows.
So prayers are definitely still called for, very much. We found out yesterday that Rick had been moved back into ICU because his heart function had taken a dramatic decrease. And because of all that, they have decided to move him down to Swedish for more intensive care. by the group down there. They need to get him stable first before they can transport him. So as far as I know, that has not happened as yet. But that is the plan going forward.
Thank you, Eric, and let's keep Rick and Sherry in our prayers as the days go along. At this time, I'd like to call on Miriam to give us a little bit of information about the school levy. I think a lot of people received their ballots either yesterday or today. And Miriam, are you out there someplace?
Yes, I am, Rich. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about the levy. But before I do, just very quickly, I wanted to share with you a heartwarming anecdote. I was visiting a second grade classroom, and the students had just finished reading a book called I Saved the World, and I am only in 4th grade. And the teacher did such a phenomenal job immersing the students in that experience that many of her students felt inspired to write their own book. And so when I was there, one of the students read out loud his own version of that book, and he called it I Saved the World, and I'm only in 2nd grade. And I was so impressed by the level of detail. He told me that he spent an entire weekend writing that book, and he was only in 2nd grade. So I told him I was so impressed. So then not too long after that, I got in the mail, he sent me my own version of the book that he wrote. So I wrote him a letter, a thank you note. And in response, he sent me 3 letters. One letter, they came at the same time. One letter said it was his birthday. He was making a poster for his book. The second letter had the poster. And the third letter, this made me very happy. He said, "You are in my next book, Dr. Mickelson." And so I wanted to share that with you. And just this student, I am sure, is going to be a best-selling author someday because he has teachers who nurture his passion and his interest and build his skills. And that really is the kind of learning experience that our educators in the Sedro Woolley School District work very hard to provide our students every single day. That critical work requires funding, as we know, and unfortunately, regrettably, the state funds only about 77% of our district budget. And so we have to run a levy for those programs and services not funded by the state. So in this February election, we are putting on the ballot a 4-year replacement levy. It is not a new levy. It maintains the current levy rate of $2.50 per $1,000 of assessed property value. The levy constitutes about 17% of our district budget. So in 2023, that's approximately, or that's nearly $12 million. So it is an essential component of our district's budget. The levy goes to programs, as I mentioned earlier, not fully funded or not funded at all by the state. For example, arts and music at the elementary level, school nurses who are essential, counselors, librarians. The levy also helps us manage class sizes. Our classes are not too big. One frequently asked question that I have been fielding, well, what about ESSER funds? What about CARES Act or the federal money that you received during this pandemic year? And that really is allocated towards costs and expenditures associated with a pandemic and the learning gaps that unfortunately come with the loss of instructional time. So we cannot take the ESSER funds that we have received and use that in place of the levy. Also, very important fact to note: the school board approved a levy lid in their November 2021 resolution to help mitigate the impact of increased property values. So they approved a maximum amount of the total levy collection that we can make. In 2023, it's about 11.3 or $11.9 million. And then it goes to 2026, because this is a 4-year replacement levy, $13.7 million. And it's also really critical to point out that the cap or the levy lid, the total amount that we can collect in 2026 if this replacement levy passes, is only $100,000 more than the current levy lid this year. So we are asking only for what we need. And as a school district, we will continue to be very judicious with the spending of taxpayers' money. Let's see. So that's it, really. Just a few pieces of information about the levy. The rate is capped at $250, and there's also a levy lid. So if assessed property values increase, the levy rate will likely decrease. So on behalf of the students of the Sedro Woolley School District, please do not forget to vote by February 8th. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Miriam. Does anybody have any questions of Miriam? Quiet bunch today.
Paula? Oh,
You got to unmute, Paula.
I just want to say that Dr. Michelson has done a really good job of presenting the material here today. And I noticed in the one that I received in the newspaper as well, it was really well done and very simple. Things that most people could, relate to and understand quickly.
thank you for the feedback, Paula.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, let's move on to, I guess we don't have a wheel to spin today.
Richard, Rich,
Mayor.
the mayor has a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Julia.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich. And thank you, Miriam, for the report. I just want to share, I'm just going to make a comment here. So there is a beautiful video that is on the Sedro Woolley School District Facebook that Miriam has done, and it's there for people to share if you want to share that so that the message gets out. And I've had opportunity to do that, and I see other people have shared from my side as well. So it's a way to really support our schools if you have the opportunity to reach out through social media by sharing this video. So thank you, Miriam, for sharing today and all that you've given.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson.
Any other questions or comments from our Rotarians? Okay. Well, thank you. Let's move on. Skipping by the Wheel of Fortune. We have a sergeant of arms. I suspect we'll only have happy bucks today. Are you leading that, Paula?
Yeah, I didn't prepare any questions for anybody because we weren't going to be sitting at tables. So I thought, well, we'll just do happy bucks and see what people want to donate towards that. So let's start by showing us some hands. Who said that? David, go ahead.
So,
go ahead, David.
So I'm at work right now, and today's a great day. I'm very happy that we are serving meals in our dining room. We've been on a COVID outbreak status since January 3rd. So it's a joyous day. Everyone is quite excited. So I'm in my office and I had to go out to the front, and Stephanie looked at me really weird and said, "Who were you singing to in your office?" when I was leading the song to all of you. So that just made me laugh. So I'll Venmo a few bucks to the cause, and that's it.
Thank you, David. Yes, Mike.
Well, I'll Venmo over some happy bucks. About 2 weeks ago, this past Tuesday, I started coming down, started getting sick, and thought I was getting a cold or whatever. But by Tuesday night was full-blown fever, the whole bit. And of course, you know, popped a positive COVID test. And then my wife popped a positive COVID test. And, you know, 15 days later, I'm finally starting to feel human. And I'm happy for that. And all I'm going to say is if you're not vaccinated, get vaccinated because this shit's real. It's no fun. Take care of yourselves.
Very good. Thank you, Mike. Anyone
Thanks,
else?
Mike.
Hey,
Yes,
Paula.
Daryl. I'll let Daryl go and then I'll come back to you, Lynn. Go ahead, Daryl.
I guess I'd better give more than just the $3 for our anniversary. And so we'll be given $50 for, in fact, $53 for the 53 years for our celebration of our anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you. That's great. Okay, Lynn. You're next.
Thank you. I'll give a happy 20 for the 5 Sedro Woolley Rotarians that stepped up and bought raffle tickets for our auction. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
And I'll give $20 just for general purposes. That we've got 35 participants, which I think is pretty darn good for a Zoom meeting, especially after 2 years of them. So I will send that in.
Okay, and what's the process for sending the money in? Do they just do it on Club Runner or?
You can do it on Venmo, or you can be old-fashioned like myself and drop it off with Steve Huggins at his auto parts store.
That works too. Okay.
Hey, Paula. It's Joellen.
Yes.
I got some
Hi.
happy bucks.
All right.
I'm happy because my daughter is playing her first volleyball game today, and the Sedro Woolley School District is so awesome. They're allowing parents to come watch. So I'm very happy I get to watch her participate.
Well, don't forget your mask. All right. I think we're done. Rich?
Okay, thank you. Paula, I think we'll go on to our guest speaker today. And you want to introduce?
Yes. I am real pleased to announce that Jake, who happened to be with us for our December Christmas party, is here today. Jake is the new CEO of the Skagit Tourism Bureau. And when I say new, it's like new everything. It's not just new Jake, it's a new bureau, and he's starting from scratch. So he gets to build it his way, but then of course he's got no one to blame but him either. I really like Jake. I hope he does really well, and I look forward to seeing all the wonderful things he brings to tourism in Skagit Valley. Jake?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me today. And it's great to see everybody here and be able to share a little bit about, what our plans are and what we know that tourism can do for the entire county here. So I have a little kind of tourism 101 presentation here because I think that a lot of times in places where there hasn't been any kind of formal tourism effort, folks don't necessarily know how much it impacts their lives, how much, what a large part of the economy it is. So we'll just go through some basics about, what my background is, what tourism can bring to an area, and some of the things that we are planning to do here in Skagit County. So let me try to share my screen. What's a password? Okay. Ooh. I think this wants me to quit and re-log in to share my screen. Hold on one sec. I may be leaving and rejoining you when I hit this button. I'm not sure what's going to happen, so bear with me.
Talk amongst yourselves while he's gone.
Oh, that's not the end of the meeting.
always fun to try to figure all these things out. But then without having done so ahead of time, I find it challenging. Hi, Jake, you're back. Unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. One of the other new things is a new computer that I have not shared a screen on before, apparently. So here we go. Oops. All right. So, I titled this Sharing Skagit Valley because really that's what we are here to do. When I came here for my interview, I was very, very pleasantly, I don't want to say surprised, but I was very pleased to see the state of affairs in terms of tourism assets and what you guys have to offer to visitors here in the county. A lot of times, if there hasn't been a formal effort in place, there'll be a little bit of work to do in developing the tourism businesses and getting everybody to get on the same page in terms of how to offer what they have to the rest of the world. But you guys have been working so well with each other throughout the county for a while now that all of that had already happened. So this place is ready to show to the world. And so that's what we are going to do. And we'll talk a little bit about how that helps to strengthen our communities in the process. So a little bit about me. I am a certified destination management executive. That is the credential that's offered by an industry association called Destinations International. I first received that certification in 2015, was recertified a couple years ago. I've been running destination marketing or management organizations for 18 years now. I've been in the industry for 18 years. I spent the last 3 on the private side working for a company that does CRM software and digital marketing for tourism bureaus specifically. But the balance of that time was spent running first a tourism bureau in southern New Jersey, where I was in charge of 4 counties across the Delaware River from Philadelphia. Then I went up to Corning, New York in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York, then came back to New Jersey to serve as the state tourism director for the last year of the last administration, just prior to trying my hand on the private side of things for the last 3.5 years with a company called Tempest. So have a lot of experience doing this in a lot of different settings. The first organization I was with, when it was handed to me, it was kind of in dire straits. It was traditionally funded by an economic development entity that had very abruptly stopped funding a lot of its efforts, and we were one of the babies that got thrown out with the bathwater. So I was handed that organization at a time, and the board just kind of asked me to either guide it in for an easy landing, or if I was so inclined, try to save it. And I was at a point in my career where I was starting to understand a little bit better how to develop and build a destination. So went ahead and tried to save it. Did a good enough job that we did bring it back to life, and kind of repositioned it as a wine region. We had a dozen or so wineries in the area, and we used that as the centerpiece to develop a new brand for the area. So Paula mentioned this is a brand new organization, the Skagit Tourism Bureau. I just started November 1st. The entity itself just came into being about the same time. So I do have that experience in building an organization almost from scratch, which should serve well here, but then also some additional experience with a little bit more developed destinations as well. So just to give you a bird's eye view of tourism in the state and what it means to the state's economy, it's the 4th largest industry in the state. And typically that surprises folks when they hear where tourism ranks as an industry within their states. So after information and communication technologies, aerospace, and forest products, tourism is your 4th largest industry, generates about $21 billion annually in the state, contributes $1.8 billion to state and local taxes, traditionally has employed more than 180,000 workers, although COVID has taken a bite out of that. And we're working to get back to all of those numbers throughout the country and around the world after COVID took a big toll on our industry. Every dollar spent by a tourist creates an additional $1.36 in economic impact for the area. And I think that that's really the one important thing that I try to stress to folks who may not have thought too much about tourism or how important it is to their community or their lives. Tourism is economic impact. It's the front door to economic development. It's the front door to economic development. The first time anybody experiences an area, whether it's as a visitor or whether it's if they're here to consider relocating a business or starting a business here, if they're considering relocating to the area for work, the feel that they get, the look and feel of the place is what is presented to them by whatever tourism effort is there in place. So the first taste that they get, the first emotions that they experience within that destination are going to be as a tourist. And the work of a tourism bureau is to make sure that there is a cohesive feeling to the place, that it is a positive experience, that it is a place that they feel comfortable, that they feel is navigable. And so at that level, it's more than just being the welcome wagon to folks who are traveling here for business or for pleasure. It's really a much bigger picture work that we do in working hand in hand with chambers of commerce, economic development organizations, state and local governments, in order to make sure that this place has a character and that character comes across to the folks who experience it for the first time. So all of those partnerships are very critical to what we do. Each of the chambers of commerce and the city governments in each of the cities throughout the county, we will be working very closely with. There are a lot of great efforts that were already in place in each of those jurisdictions that we're looking to just tie together and create a more robust experience from. So we work hand in hand with those folks, and we're just kind of another layer on top of some of the things that they do in order to create a more robust package for people to visit. How do I go back here? Oops. And I think that the other really important part of my philosophy, at least on tourism, is that our organization is a steward of this destination, of this county, and maintaining the integrity of the place is critical, for us to do our jobs first and foremost. A lot of times when you talk about tourism efforts, residents get a little hesitant about getting on board because they don't want an influx of visitors who are going to change their quality of life or change the character of the place. But it's important to note that without helping to maintain the character of this place and the integrity of the destination, that we don't have the same product to sell as we do now. It's a great product, and so we're here to be good stewards of that product so that it continues to have the same appeal that it does now, even as we ask additional folks to come and visit us here. So when tourism is working properly, the folks are coming in from outside the area. They are dropping off tax dollars without having too much of a burden on your infrastructure. For the most part, we're not educating their kids. Hopefully we're not using too many emergency services on them when they're here. So they are, for the most part, just strictly contributing to the economy, dropping off their tax dollars and going back home. So that's why it works so well. That's where you get to that additional $1.36 of economic impact that visitors bring to the area when they visit. So the way that our organization, the way that most tourism organizations are funded as well is through a tax or a fee that is assessed typically on room nights at hotels, and that's what ours is. So it's also not a tax burden on the residents themselves to fund these efforts. The folks who are coming here and visiting are paying for us to help build the destination up into a bigger and better version of itself that works even better for us within the county. So this is a great way to think about how all of this works and how tourism plays into our communities. It was developed by a woman named Mara Gast, who is the Irving, Texas Convention and Visitors Bureau executive director. She's been there for 30 years. She is a industry superstar, and she developed this probably about 10 years ago at this point. So if you start in the top right corner there, if you build a place people want to visit, you build a place people want to live. If you build a place people want to live, you build a place people want to work. If you build a place business needs to be, you build a place that people want to visit. And then if you build a place that people want to work, or those are switched around. sorry about that. If you build a place that people want to work, you build a place that business needs to be. If you build a place that business needs to be, you build a place people want to visit. So switch those bottom two around there. But you get the idea. And part of the work that of a destination management organization is to kind of identify where you are in this cycle. It should continue to churn and make the destination a better and better place in all those aspects. If the job's being done correctly, but there's certainly a place that you find yourself in that cycle to start from and start moving through it from there. So part of the work that we will do through some of the things that we have planned for our first year here will be to determine where we are in that in terms of destination development and how we're going to move ourselves through the rest of that destination management cycle. So just a little bit about what we're going to do here year one at a very, very broad way. Establishing a solid foundation. We are still in the process of completing the formation of the organization, getting all the I's dotted and T's crossed there, and then simultaneously starting to explore how we will go about marketing the destination with the funds that are available now. So we will be involving the community in all of our strategic planning and brand development activities that we have. Those will be commencing shortly within the next month or two. And we want to make sure that we have input from everybody. So even, folks in the room who may not think that their businesses or organizations are, directly related to tourism, you'd be surprised if you become part of the conversation how much tourism can end up impacting just about every facet of a community. You have kind of a second tier of induced economic impact that happens beyond just the hotels and restaurants and attractions when the folks who are cleaning the linens for the hotels start to get more business, or the auto repair shop starts to get more business as people are driving into the area, and just those types of things that also factor in. So we want to be able to create new opportunities through what we do for job seekers, for entrepreneurs, and for visitors. And I think that one important thing to point out here, because a lot of times in conversations about tourism, people might say that tourism jobs are low paying jobs, or have certain negative associations with the tourism industry and the jobs that it provides. But the types of jobs that have entry-level positions in the tourism industry are really one of the only places where you can still kind of move up through the ranks, and where there is a lot of opportunity and a clear path from being somebody who is relatively unskilled to learning on the job and working your way up through the ranks, particularly in the hotel industry. So that's just one way that we like to dispel the notion that tourism jobs are not high-paying jobs or are bad jobs. There are a lot of other great examples and anecdotes you can point to, but I think that that's probably the number one to point out, is that those hotel jobs in particular provide opportunities that you don't see in a lot of other industries in this day and age. New opportunities for entrepreneurs. One of the things that we've talked a lot about in the formation of this entity, and as we begin these efforts, is that we have a lot to offer our visitors right now, but not necessarily good ways to access it, or that the ways to access it are not necessarily being marketed as well as they could. So for the entrepreneurs in the area, we just want to make sure that we are connecting outfitters with visitors who are looking to experience the outdoors, or helping limo companies understand the opportunities to create winery tours or brewery tours, or just products like that. We want to be heavily involved in developing new tourism product that helps people to experience the area, but also helps for businesses in the area to be able to prosper a little bit as a result. And then obviously for visitors, we want to make sure that we are putting our best foot forward, and that they understand everything that we have to offer here, and that what some of the hidden jewels that we have here in the county are. So another big part of the building the foundation of this organization will be fostering stewardship and ambassadorship among residents. So the typical old school version of destination marketing might not involve residents to the extent that we like to see now in the tourism industry. When I got up to Corning, New York, one thing that I noticed was that typically in a tourism-based economy, you have a love-hate relationship. The residents have a love-hate relationship with the tourists. They know they need them. They hate them, but they know they need them. And up in Corning, they hated them and they didn't know that they needed them. So there was a lot of education to be done in explaining to the folks there, why it was we were bringing folks to the area, getting them excited about where they lived, becoming ambassadors of all of the great things that we had to offer. And then being good stewards of the destination for those folks, so that, if you're working at a shop in the main street and somebody from out of town comes in and asks you what there is to do in the area, that you don't say there's nothing to do, that you have a good sense of, how great of a place you live and what you have to offer to those visitors. So that's a really critical part of the foundation that, again, even if you're not directly related to tourism, we want to hear from everybody and make sure that everybody's involved with, and then to be good neighbors and advocates for the industry and for the area, just so that, again, we are maintaining the integrity of the place, making sure that folks know that we are here to help, not to hurt, and that, we can figure out a good way to bring more folks to the area without, disrupting our day-to-day lives and, contributing a little bit more to the economy. So that's kind of a bird's eye view of tourism and what we're planning to do for this first year here. I certainly welcome any questions anybody has. I know that was pretty broad. If you have more specific questions about what we're going to be doing, I'm happy to answer them.
So I have a question, Jake. So I'm involved with a group that works with disabled people to promote golf, and they put on golf tournaments occasionally. I myself have never actually put one together, but let's say I were to put together a golf tournament that would attract national and international players. What kind of services, if any, would you be able to provide for me?
So there's a whole range depending on a lot of things, how developed the organization is, how much we are going to emphasize that type of work. At a minimum, we can make sure the folks who are coming here to the area have all of the information that they need about what is here and how to best experience the area. All the way up to we're going to take a look at how involved we think that we should be in helping to recruit events like that and play a more active role in bringing those folks in. But again, at a minimum, provide them that information, but also work with the hotels so that we have a sense of what inventory is available in terms of rooms, what we can accommodate, what dates will work for those folks, and how we can get everybody here in the most organized way possible and maximize the experience that they have here. So there's absolutely, I'd be very interested to hear about any opportunities to bring folks in from outside the area for things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Jake, I'm curious, in your 1 month, 2 months of being here, what you see Skagit as our opportunities and your challenges.
So I've said a bunch that this has ended up being pretty much just a better version of every place that I've been so far, in terms of just the agritourism opportunities, the ecotourism opportunities. A lot of places try to do a farm to fork thing or develop that, kind of became all the rage at some point. The opportunity here to have, one of the most authentic versions of that, where we're, connecting our businesses together through the agriculture that we have here, bringing that to the visitors in the area, I think is a huge opportunity. I don't think that, that's too played out at this point. I think that if you have a real authentic version of it like we do here, that you can certainly play that up. Obviously, the national park and all of the outdoor assets that we have are going to be key to what we do. And so we want to make sure that, you know, we in the tourism industry, we tend to work well with our neighbors. And I've talked to all of our neighboring counties. They all seem to want to collaborate on things. And I think that the reason that happens is that you can't really replicate what a destination has. You can, you know, borrow ideas from folks, but, you know, I can't take Mount Baker from Whatcom County and put it here. But the one thing we can do is say, if you want the best views and the best photo ops of Mount Baker, those happen here in Skagit County. So, you know, it's starting to stake a little bit more of a claim to some of the assets that maybe our neighbors have taken advantage of in the absence of a tourism effort here. And just making sure that folks know that, you know, we own those things, that they are some of the best versions of them out here, and helping them to tie it all together so that they know that that's all here.
I have a question, Jake. Julia Garrison. I'm a little surprised you're not ready to move mountains. Hey.
Yeah.
I think you are, maybe literal ones, maybe not physical ones.
Yeah.
But my question is sort of about tourism, but you know, I'm really curious. A lot of my clients I know are getting really excited about Airbnb and things like that. So do you know much about it? I'm looking into it and kind of learning about it now that we've got the property and the land. So some people are telling me, you know, you should start goat yoga, or, you know, have some llamas on that pasture of yours or something like that. But Airbnb is an obvious choice. And I really don't know where in the Skagit County to even go to. Do you know something about it, or can you send us somewhere for more specific information as far as specific to location to our county?
Just about finding what's available here, about developing a new.
Like, what do we need? Any permits? Do people need permits if they want to start Airbnb? What's a good route to start figuring out the information?
Yeah, I can probably find some information. I don't have any off the top of my head, but I know that it's out there. Most of the conversation in the tourism industry about Airbnbs is, you know, at first it was kind of a contentious conversation with the hotels, where, you know, it was competing with them a little bit. But yeah, I think at this stage of the game, everybody has kind of, you know, sometimes begrudgingly learned to coexist. It's unfortunate that the funding mechanism that we have here in place does not include Airbnbs, because Airbnb is typically very happy to work with destinations, as long as you know, the legislation allows for it to. They can flip a switch and start having their properties contribute to the funding mechanism that funds efforts like ours. But I'll look around and I'll see what I can find. I know it's out. I know I've seen it before. I just don't have it at the tip of my tongue, but I can find you something for sure.
Awesome.
I think that,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, another thing to point out is that just some of the trends that are happening post-COVID here in terms of tourism are that, you know, first and foremost, even with the hiccup of Omicron here, the industry experts are still anticipating about a 20 or 30% increase in tourism next year, and overnight stays and tourism impacts. So we're optimistic that will happen, but the types of travel that people are doing are also fit perfectly with what we have. They're doing wellness travel, they're doing ecotourism, they're doing things where they're outdoors and away from people. They want to go somewhere and have an experience, but they don't necessarily want to be in a crowded museum or a concert or things like that. So, you know, it really bodes well for us that people are staying closer to home, not doing the long haul travel that they were doing pre-COVID, that they're embracing local communities more, that when they do show up somewhere, they've kind of been rewired over the course of the pandemic to patronize those local businesses, and that they are coming to experience the types of things that we have here.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so very much.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you, Jake. I'm going to give you our magical invisible pen. So for signing up, people, And really appreciate you coming today and kind of telling us about this new exciting bureau that we have here in the county. And we wish you the best of luck. I think Mike Mosier has something to say about the crystal ball before we adjourn.
Yeah, everybody, it is that time of year again. I will tell you, the crystal ball test from last year has been graded. I know who the winner and who the losers are. I know how everybody did. I will not be sharing that information in any time soon, but the test for this year has been written. It's a good test, I will tell you that. Right now, the plan is it is going to be all online like it was last year. We had originally hoped to, have an in-person meeting to hand the tests out and do it like we love to do. But Ruth is in the process of putting it together. For those of you that remember last year, it was just all done on the computer, or if you need a hard copy sent to you, I can certainly do that. But right now, it's tentatively scheduled to go live February 1st and run for about a week. So watch for an email from me or Bill McCann explaining how that is and a link to get to the test. As far as the results from last year, our preference is to do it live in a live person meeting. So I think we will probably hold off presenting the awards for last year until we get back to meeting in person. And that's something Rich and I and Bill need to talk about. So Rich, give it some thought and let us know what you want to do. But our preference would be to do it in live. So anyway, start putting your thinking caps on and thinking about world events and local events and what's going on, and get ready for the crystal ball test. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Rich.
Live, Mike.
Okay, we'll do it live.
Okay, with that, I will adjourn. I thank you, Lynn, for coming and sharing about your auction. Wish you the best of luck. And congratulations to our anniversaries today. And again, thank you, Jake, for giving us an insight on the new Tourism Bureau. And thank you, Miriam, for the information on the levy. And with that, we are adjourned.